sign on.
Another episode of Sign on the Pod. We got a first responder, FDNY EMT himself, Devante Hazel.
Yes,
Appreciate you for signing on.
Appreciate
tonight.
you for having me.
Have you ever been, because you in Brooklyn, so have you ever been scared going to a neighborhood or from a call that you had to respond to?
Nope. Only because
he's lying. No way.
Nah, only because I got the uniform on. I ain't that.
So when you wear that uniform, you feel like
invincible.
Like, oh, nobody's gonna mess with.
Yeah. Invincible.
First responders.
Yeah. I feel invincible. Going to any neighborhoods in a uniform. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I would too. I would feel more invincible in EMT, EMS, or paramedic or fire uniform than PD.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, me too.
Because they know you there to help.
Right.
Like that's your number one thing. You there to help.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So like
that's why.
Well, I can't. Unless something's going down, they don't want you here. But who knows with New York? In Brooklyn, you over there trying to help somebody and somebody harms another person. And they're like, "Nah, I don't want you helping them." And then but let's not go wood on that.
I feel comfortable.
But not once. You've never been.
Not the neighborhoods. No.
Well, have you ever been? All right. So, have you ever been scared to get to a call in general, just because you know what you're about to respond to?
That I've been scared a few times. Because we get like a preview on a computer saying like what's gonna happen, what's happening inside, for the call. Mm-hmm. So there's certain situations where it would say somebody's running around with a knife, someone's showing a gun, or if someone's shot, it'll tell like the details of what's going on inside the thing. So
so you get a description of what you're about to walk into.
Yeah, brief description, but 9 times out of 10, it's hit or miss. Like it could be all true or all fake based on like the information. So,
you remember a time where you was going, like one specifically, if you had to say, where you responded to it and you was like, oh yeah, like you got a little jitters.
Oh yeah. All right, so there's a lot of times where we get a call saying like unknown, and then so the unknown, it's a little brief description, and it'll be like, so this one particular, it said
before you describe the situation, unknown, like does that mean that someone called anonymously, or like how does it become unknown when it pops up in your?
Well, from my understanding, it's like they don't have enough information of what's going on.
So they just heard something.
So yeah,
or
somebody should suspect,
okay.
Or like they could call for a wellness check. Mm-hmm. So it'll just be labeled unknown, and then if they get any updates, the computer will update, and then we can know a little better. But for this instance, it was an unknown. It was like a wellness check for somebody's grandmother. And they haven't heard from her in a couple of days. And so we get this, my ambulance responding and the firefighters responding. And they open the door. Firefighters take the door, they open the door, and the place is like pitch black.
This was an apartment building or a house?
It was an apartment building, projects. Yeah. So
most of them are like that in Brooklyn, probably for you, especially where you're located.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was like somebody's grandmother wellness check. So the apartment is like pitch black, and I'm the first guy in. For whatever reason, I was the first guy in, and I'm, hey, it's the fire department, EMS.
Now, before you walk through that door, like, what is it like? Do you know, like, what are you thinking in your mind? Like, are you more of aware, or are you more like, this is about to go down and I gotta prepare myself? Like,
it all depends. It honestly all depends,
but in this situation,
I was more aware of like, trying to figure out where the old lady is at, if she's even in the apartment. Okay. A lot of times, if someone's dead, we can smell that from the jump. So that's my first initial thing. Like when I walk in I'm smelling to see if somebody had passed away or something like that. So I didn't get that smell. So I didn't smell that. So I'm still searching through the apartment, and she's like right in the living room. She's right in the living room, and she's just like laid out. She's not responding. I'm like, hey, hello, ma'am, whatever. So I do like a sternum rub to make sure she's alive, and she jumps up. Right, this lady's like 85. She jumps up like she's not moving. There's roaches all over the place, and she just jumps up. And I'm like, oh shit, man! Everybody come in here. She's alive, man. So,
wow, that's crazy. So going in though, on those unknown calls,
right?
You probably like you going in, and you're like, I don't know what I'm about to get myself into. Mm-hmm. But as you go into the calls, like you checking the, I'm guessing y'all got a device y'all have on hand that's updating the details of the response y'all going to.
No, that's on the computer in the ambulance.
Oh, so once y'all leave the ambulance,
ambulance, yeah, unless we're calling for extra updates, but we barely do that. We just go to the apartment. If we can't get inside the door, we call for firefighters. They open the door.
Okay.
And then it's like detective work. You got to figure out if the patient's in there. And now if the patient's in there, we got to figure out, what's wrong with them.
Wow. So these unknown calls, like you basically a detective,
yeah,
paramedic,
yeah,
firefighter, like, and you just got to be like naturally aware.
Oh, you got to be aware of everything. Yeah, you got to check. Certain doors be closed. You got to check those doors.
And for safety hazards too.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, you want to make sure your safety is first thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of that safety, like what, like, do y'all have injury protocol for the job or anything, like on the truck, going to jobs? Like, is there certain things you guys have to do to stay safe that's in like your rule book, or
okay?
Like, do you have is there any status quo for being safe?
Just for like the equipment with the stretcher. Back in the day, right now we got like electric stretchers. So
electric stretchers.
Yeah, okay. We don't got to do too much lifting with the electric stretchers. So, but back in the day, we had like the manual stretchers where we had to
really physically lift that 400 pounds.
Yeah, physically, like 400, 500. We had to lift them up. So they would tell you like bend down straight, and lift with your legs, not your back. So that was really like the only safety thing that we really did.
What about like they don't tell you guys like going into a situation how you should, like you guys are just free balling everything? Like,
oh no, you really have to like assess everything. So you're looking at everything from as soon as you get out the truck. You want to see if if there's bystanders that are violent or anything, because sometimes it'd be like patients on the floor and then the bystander be like, yo, hurry up, man. You know what I'm saying? They might have whatever. The family members might be like that too. So you got to really, as soon as you get out the truck, you got to assess everything,
and make sure like everybody's out the way, because you got family members that's like, oh, like that's like respectfully, they failing or be in danger, right. But y'all need them to back away and relax, so y'all can do y'all job and help them.
So if they get too combative, then we just head back to the truck and then let the dispatcher know that can you send PD or whatever, so that way we can be safe.
So that's why when something happens and police come, they're like, you guys got to get out of it. That's y'all call them for backup help while y'all deal with the situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So just recently, like we was responding to a seizure call, and the boyfriend, he's like, hurry the up with my family member and stuff like that. And long story short, he comes out with a bat, like, yo, hurry up, get her out of here. You know what I'm saying? So
like take her to the hospital.
Yeah. So it was pretty crazy in there, man. And I actually got like stuck in the apartment. Like it was all my coworkers had exited the apartment, and I got stuck in the apartment for like a brief second. But yeah, the guy was running around with the bat, threatening us. Yeah, I'm gonna snuff you. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna hit you with the bat
if you don't hurry up and get her out of here.
Yeah.
But so while he was saying that, obviously y'all going through y'all regular, protocols and how y'all deal with certain situations. Like, what were y'all doing at that time? Like, what happened to her?
So she had a seizure, and we're not really supposed to move the patient whilst they're actively seizing. So we tried to get her on the chair to bring her outside, but she started seizing, so we had to place her back on the floor. So that's why we couldn't get her out the apartment because it was like a hazard risk. So and then he's like, hurry up and get her out, but we couldn't move her because she's seasoned and stuff like that. So he got upset and he wanted to attack us and stuff like that.
So where you put in the, I guess the stretcher. The stretcher was in there with y'all?
We couldn't take it because it was too big for like the elevators. But we had a stair chair, so we're able to put the patient on a stair chair and bring him outside.
Okay.
But
so y'all went to put her on there, but she was still seasoned.
Yeah.
So when they're still seasoned, you gotta let them finish their episode. Before you can lift them.
Yeah.
So and it's just like under your own discretion, or when they're done seasoned to pick them up, or is it like certain things you see, like, all right, she's done season, I could pick her up now?
Yeah, like once she's done season, we already have her on the oxygen. But then, once she's done season and she's like not moving rigorously, we could just put her on the chair and bring her outside to the ambulance. But like if they're seasoned, they like kind of like kick out, swing their arms and stuff like that. So they like banging their head and stuff like that. They might bang their head on the wall or something like that. So it was one of those.
Now when they're done with that, like, because I'm ignorant to the situation, I haven't really seen people seize too much. Like, what are people usually? What kind of state are they in after they're done season?
It's like a confused.
Is that the right word?
Yeah, season. Right. Yeah, they're in a confused state. We'll ask them a bunch of questions, but if they're really having a seizure, they'll be confused for it could be a couple of minutes, couple of seconds, but yeah, they're pretty confused. They're like, oh, I didn't have a seizure. I do have a history of seizures and stuff like that, but yeah, sometimes
y'all strap them in when y'all put them in that chair, right?
Yeah.
You got to.
Yeah, got to.
Because that would be crazy.
Yeah.
So, what was your most horrific or bloodiest scene you ever been to?
So, my most horrific would be this kid was ran over by a tow truck. He was like 7 years old, and his brains was all over the floor. His brains was coming out of his nose, his ears.
What?
Yeah. But it was,
obviously he was dead.
Obviously, but I'm usually I get tunnel vision. We just do the job and get it over with. But the mother had, like told me, she was like, you don't remember me? Like, I'm like, no, I'm so sorry. She's like, yeah, you took me and my son to the hospital last month. So, because since I had the tunnel vision, I wasn't really looking at, the characteristics of everything, but I'm just doing the job. Yeah.
You're just doing the job.
So now I really looked at her and I remembered her. I'm like, oh shit, I'm so sorry. This is crazy. Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah, that
you but once so once she came up to you, you were like, what? That's crazy. She was in your face.
Yeah.
And you were so locked in to helping and assessing the situation. You didn't remember her, and that was only a month ago.
Only a month ago, yeah.
And now, when she came up to you and she explained that to you, do you remember bring her son to the hospital?
Yeah. That part I remembered, yeah. So it really that messed with me at that point. I'm like, damn, son, this is only a month ago that I just took you to the hospital. Now, your son.
So that's it. So, okay. So you went, when you were pulled up to the scene, like, did you know what was happening? Like, if you can remember, describe when you pulled up to the scene and like what you was thinking, what you know, what you didn't know. If you could take me from when you got to the scene and when you left the scene briefly. Obviously, you probably don't remember too much, but
I remember this one.
Yeah, I want to hear. We want to hear all about it. We want to hear all about it.
I remember this one. So my regular partner, we just happened to split up that day. I had to work with an intern and no, actually he worked with an intern and I was working with somebody else. But he had got the job prior to me, and he had pronounced the kid dead already. So it went over the system, and we was like, all right, it is what it is. But then we got called back my unit got called back to the scene, and then in the text message, like on the computer, it said, please report to the scene, remove body. And we don't remove bodies, but We got there, and there was the police commissioner down there. That was
you guys don't remove bodies, so
nah. So
once they're dead,
yeah, once they're dead, we just leave them there, and the coroner comes.
But on the machine is telling you to remove it.
That's what it's saying. Like, yeah.
Shit.
So yeah, what? But this is in the street. This is in the middle of Fort Greene.
Wow. In Brooklyn.
So
middle of Brooklyn.
So yeah, the thing is, and as per text, it's saying like, can you remove the body type of thing, some along those lines. And yeah, we respond, and I'm speaking to the police commissioner at the time, and he's like, hey, listen, it's going to be a riot if you guys don't, remove the body. So I'm telling the commissioner, I'm like, listen, we're not supposed to move the body, but I'll call my supervisors and we'll figure it out. So yeah, the whole Brooklyn is outside in the streets. They yelling, screaming, this, that, and the third. So I made the phone call to the supervisor. I let him know this is a situation. He comes, he calls the higher ups, and we got approved to remove the kid from the scene.
Now, do you know what happened when you got to the scene? Did you know what happened?
Yeah. It was a tow truck. They was on the phone. The driver was on the phone. He or she made a turn and hit the kid, and they didn't notice that they hit the kid, and they kept driving. So they had dragged the kid a couple of feet.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Wow. So y'all ended up removing the body.
Yeah, which we usually never do.
So you put him on the electric stretcher, or
yeah, I think it was an electric stretcher. So you.
Oh my! So, yeah, I can't even imagine. Somebody got to get the leg. Somebody got to get the head.
Yeah, it's but one of those.
Brains is. Yeah. You got gloves on, obviously.
Yeah. But yeah, long story short, we get him to the hospital, and yeah, there's nothing we could do at this time. Nothing we could do, nothing the hospital could do. It's already confirmed that he's deceased or whatever. But yeah, we just had a damn, I don't even want to.
I know. If you can't talk about it,
it's kind of too much.
But, but
yeah, it was a sad situation over there, man.
Yeah,
sad situation.
That's why we need people. We need people like you, man. Because I tell people all the time, it's like you're one of the most caring people I know. Like everybody you just care and respect and love them a certain way. So you're the perfect person for this job.
Yeah,
like for real.
Yeah, appreciate that, man. Appreciate that.
I can't even imagine just picking up somebody that's deceased or their organs or whatever just splattered all over. Oh man, this is crazy.
And the crazy thing about it is, they want you to go right back to work after that. They don't want you to take a break or whatever the case might be.
Was this the beginning of your, if you remember, was your shift over? Was it during your shift? The beginning?
Nah, this was the beginning of the shift.
Wow.
So
so you work 7 a.m. to p.m.?
Yeah.
So it was in the morning when it happened?
In the morning time, yeah. He was going to school. Yeah, so I think I got my partner, he got the call probably like 7:10, 7:20. And I got the call right back probably around 7:45, 8 o'clock. So yeah, that's the beginning of the
shift. So as soon as you didn't even have your coffee or energy drink, you just wow.
Yeah.
And then after that, that probably took till I don't know how long, noon maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, but the whole situation. It was a big situation. Yeah.
You had any more calls after that during that day?
Luckily, we happened to talk to some therapists and stuff right after that call. Yeah.
I would still have to talk to a therapist.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah, especially me, since the mother had, stated what she had stated that.
Yeah, the mother, but the mother was.
Yeah, she remembered me. Yeah, so
you took the mother and the kid that was deceased. To the hospital a month prior.
Yeah.
Then when you pulled up to the scene, she came up to you and was like, "You don't remember me? You took me and my son to the hospital."
Yeah.
And that was the son. The one
that was yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's when it really clicked to me. Like I told you before, I get tunnel vision and I'm just doing my job. But once she had sent that, I had came back to reality and I was like, oh wow, this is crazy.
Wow. Let's get off that. So what was your, I guess, funniest or most unexpected response you pulled up to, and I don't know if it gave you a laugh or it was just unexpected, and like a not like horrific like what you just explained, but just something you didn't expect or something funny. And he was like, "Oh wow!" Like,
all right, please forgive me, man. My job is a certain type of job, and it needs certain type of people. But yeah, this guy, his mother had passed away, so we get to the job and we're trying to figure out what's going on. So this guy's like, "Hey, listen, I didn't." She had died maybe like two or 3 days prior.
His mom.
Yeah, his mom, and then the guy just called like 3 days later saying like, "Hey, yeah, my mom's passed away." So we're like, "Yo, why didn't you call the ambulance prior?" He said I had a job interview, right? So
wait, what?
yeah, the guy's like, "Listen, I had a job interview and I couldn't miss the job interview, so I delayed calling 911."
After his mom's passed away? What?
True story, I swear.
Nah.
True story. So we're like, me being me, I'm like, what kind of job interview was it? He said I had an audition for a TV show, right? So I'm like,
that's not funny, but like
it's not funny, but it's real funny. So I'm like, okay, what was the TV show? He's like, I'm interviewing for Power, right? Yeah, I swear. So he's like, yeah, I'm interviewing for Power, so I couldn't call 911 because I had to make it to the interview, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. So then the guy's like, do you want to see my audition tape, right?
Wait, like, hold on. Why, like his mother's like, he's asking if you want to see his audition tape?
I swear.
Oh my God.
So it's us, it's me, my partner, it's the police, and he's just like, yeah, you want to see the audition tape? So I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? So he goes into the next room, right? And the next room, he's got the cameras.
Wait, so where are you at?
We're in his apartment.
His apartment, okay.
Yeah. So we're talking to him in the living room, right? And then he's like, do you want to see the audition tape? We're like, yeah. And then he goes into the next room. He's like, yeah, let's watch the video. So now he's acting like Ghost, like for the for the
acting like Ghost for Power.
Yeah, for the audition, hey, Tommy this, whatever.
What? So he's giving y'all like he's on an audition, like acting like...
Oh no, this is a video. He's showing us
the video. Okay.
But it's in the next room. But the next room has got the cameras and everything in it. Like he did the video in the next room. It is not.
Oh, so he was gonna send it to Power, which is a show.
Right.
If most of y'all don't know, Power is a show, and he was auditioning for a character named Ghost.
Ghost, yeah.
So this is before Power came out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So this had to be like 20, whatever, 17,
yeah, it was around that time. Yeah, it's right before it. But the funny thing is, the audition, he did the video in the next room. It's not like he went to the studio and did the audition.
He did the audition in the next room.
In his apartment.
So, nah. What's the P soon?
I swear. So he's doing the audition in the next room in the apartment. And he's acting like Ghost, you know what I'm saying? So Tommy this, whatever. Nah. And yeah, so we're all looking at him like, yo, this guy's bugged out. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm sending this clip to 50. Whether he answers me or not. This is crazy.
True story, I swear. True story.
So his mother died, and he delayed. How long did he wait to call y'all?
I think 2-3 days.
2 or 3 days?
Yeah, 2-3 days.
He waited 2 or 3 days to call y'all?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She was dead in the back room, and
So when you walked in, did you smell?
Nah, you know what he did? He had washed her body. That's what he did.
What?
Yeah, I don't know if it's like different cultures that they.
Okay.
I don't know if that was his reason or he just did it for Power. But
nah.
But yeah,
he was auditioning for Ghost.
He was auditioning for Ghost and Power.
Oh my!
So he put his mom in the back room, and then yeah, he
was making videos of him. Yeah,
I thought he went to like the studio to audition for Ghost, Nah, he was in the next room in an apartment. You know.
Wow.
True story. Yeah, that's a true story.
That is crazy.
That's a true story.
So okay, so what happened to her? Well, you don't even know. You're
yeah,
not a coroner. Yeah, you just
yeah.
had to bring the body, put on an ambulance.
Yes.
Wait, but since she's
already deceased.
Y'all can't touch. Y'all usually don't touch that.
Yeah, the cops was already there, so we just left it up to the cops, and they would.
So when you pulled up, or after when you left the apartment, like in your mind, you was like, "This dude's crazy.
He's bugged out." Yeah,
yo, he's what? Out.
He's absolutely bugged out.
Wait, that is crazy.
Yeah, that's a true story, man.
Oh my god! Wow. Oh man. This guy, imagine your mom is dead for 3 days, but you have an audition, so you record for 3 days, then you call first responders.
Yeah,
that is wild.
Yeah,
that's wow. True. So have you ever delivered a baby?
I did. Don't remember what year. It was a couple years ago. But yeah, delivered a baby. It was a beautiful.
Just one?
Just one. I delivered one baby, and then the next time the baby was already out. But the time I did deliver the baby, it was a beautiful experience. It was a young lady.
Beautiful or scary?
Beautiful and scary, you know. Just like giving birth was like a beautiful thing, of course. But it was scary because it was the first time I had to do it. Yeah. And it was like a teenager, maybe like 19, 20 or whatever.
Wow. The woman that she was 19.
Yeah, she's about 19, 20. Wow. And she's like screaming crazy. I'm about to have a baby. So I'm like, all right, cool.
So on the dispatch, they told you?
Like... Yeah. So the dispatchers, they tell us a preview, and then it goes on the computer and it says OB in labor. That's what it would say, OB in labor. So now in my head, I'm like, damn, we got to prepare for, delivering a baby.
OB in labor?
That's what it's called. Yeah. So now I'm preparing. I'm like, all right, this is what I got to do. I got to do this. I got to do that.
There's a certain protocol for when.
Yeah, there's a protocol for everything. Yeah, but
there's a protocol for like deliver a baby.
Yeah, it's a protocol. For everything.
So like, obviously, certain cultures, religions, they have different ways. Some don't go to the hospital.
Right.
So you guys are. That's crazy. You guys have a protocol for delivering a baby. Yeah. You're not I don't know what's the right verbiage for people that deliver babies in the hospital, but y'all, that's crazy. Y'all have a protocol for everything.
Yeah.
Delivering a baby?
Yeah, it's a protocol for everything.
Wow. So, okay. So you going in, you're like, especially if this is my first time, like, is it telling you on a computer, like, this baby is not out yet? Like,
yeah. If the baby is out, I would say baby is out. But it didn't say baby's out. So it just says OB in labor. So we get there.
In labor, that means
like that in
that
the process.
Could mean a whole wide of things.
Yeah, a whole wide of things.
The baby could be you take her to the hospital.
Yeah.
But going in, was your mind like, okay, I could possibly be delivering this baby? Or was your mind like, all right, I'm gonna take her to the hospital and she's gonna deliver it?
Usually we hope that, we just bring them to the hospital and, they hospital handle it. But this time, for some reason, I was in the mood and I'm like, yeah, maybe we do gotta, what's crazy? Sometimes I just like manifest things. So probably like a week before, a month before, I was like, I want to deliver a baby.
I'm all about manifesting, bro. Trust me.
I did that, and lo and behold, that whatever happened, it just happened. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, we had got the lady on the stretcher, and she's screaming, "I've got to push this, that, and the third."
Now, were y'all still in her place, like at her home?
Nah, we had got her on the ambulance. We had got her in the ambulance.
Oh, that's good.
So now she's on the stretcher already, but she's screaming like.
And y'all can't put her on can't sedate her. You can't do nothing. She gotta feel everything.
Yeah,
you gotta hear all of them. Wow.
So it was, I've had plenty of baby calls, but at this one was like she's screaming a lot. So I'm like, listen, I gotta check to see if you're crowning and stuff like that.
And what does that mean?
That's like the baby's poking out of the vagina.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's called crowning.
Crowning. Yeah,
Okay,
like the head is like moving or whatever.
Okay.
So
And you was it crowning?
yeah. Oh man, so
the baby was coming out.
the baby was coming. I seen the head. It was pretty crazy.
Wow.
So I'm grabbing all the equipment and stuff like that, and yeah, the baby had came out
while you was on the truck on the
while
ambulance.
while I was on the ambulance.
Wow. So the ambulance has stopped, or y'all driving to the hospital?
My partner was driving, and when I had looked for the crowning, I seen it. So I told my partner to stop driving, and come help me. And he's nervous. I'm nervous. It's our first baby at the time, so yeah, he pulled over. The baby had came out. We had put the umbilical cords. I mean, we had put the clamps on the umbilical cord so we could cut the umbilical cord. And
now you're remembering this because you never delivered a baby before.
Nah, yeah.
But you're remembering the protocol for delivering a baby.
Yeah, the training. Yeah, that training had came in full effect, man.
That's crazy. Like it's stuff for work that I learned from my first year, and I go back to it, and I don't remember it at all. This guy's remembering how to deliver a baby from. Wait, when did you deliver this baby? What year? Roughly?
Probably I was 6 months. I think probably
you were 6 months in.
Yeah, I think I was
okay. So you was fresh, but still.
But yeah,
6 months in, you probably seen all types of situations.
Yeah, within those 6 months,
but you remember how to deliver that baby.
Yeah,
and you said you manifested it. That's crazy.
Yeah, I had manifested that.
Oh man, that's beautiful and scary at the same time.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild. Yeah, I can't even.
Man, I got a question for you, man.
What's up?
I got a question for you. So, with you being the second oldest of 7, and eventually being the oldest sibling, how did that feel for you? You had a bunch of
being the second oldest,
and eventually the head of command.
So for me, growing up, I'm going to make this as quick and general as possible. And this is funny because no one has ever asked me a question on here, and this is his, this is about him and the amazing work that he does. But I got a minute for the audience. For me, I never got asked that question in my life, honestly.
Really?
But I'm gonna take this. Probably might need 2 minutes. I was trying to do is to make sure my brothers experienced the fun things outside of sports in school.
Right.
Play the game a little longer. Watch wrestling when it comes on at 8 p.m. Sneakily turn it on, even though we were supposed to be in bed, an hour before.
Right.
Just, making sure that we still have fun and did all the little sneaky stuff. So that's the type of brother I was.
So you broke the rules, is what you're saying.
I was a brother that made sure, we broke the rules a little bit because my brothers and I, we were set straight on school and the sports.
Right.
So I was there to spice things up a little bit. But to sum it up, that's what I tried to do when it was my turn to be a big brother, and my older brother Phil play no games, and we needed that at the time. We needed Phil to be like that for his younger brothers. Then it was my turn. It was like, all right, let's spice things up a little bit. There's 7 of us, we don't need to be little weirdos. Let's stay out later, watch later TV, do crazy stuff when we can. That was what I try to do. End of my spiel.
Shout out to Phil.
So you were on a job since when? 2015 ish? She was like 14, 15?
FDNY 2017.
FDNY 2017.
Before that, 2014.
So you was on a job during COVID.
Yes.
What was that like? Because this was obviously different for everyone on the planet. Like what was a day like during COVID, a regular day in 2020 for you? Like
it was hectic. I mean, the workload was damn near 3 times my regular workload.
3 times?
Shit, it might be more than that, honestly. Yeah, man, I ain't never seen nothing like it, man. They had all the trailers outside, all the trailers outside the hospitals.
What do you mean trailers? Like
where the dead bodies was going. Whoever passed from COVID, they had about 3, 4 big ass truck trailers, and so all the people that had passed away, they put them in that trailer, and then yeah, it was crazy.
Nobody knew what to do.
Nobody, yeah, the hospitals usually like the wait time is anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes to like get them registered or get them seen. During COVID, it was about at least an hour.
What?
Yeah, it was
Hour,
at
bro?
least an hour to even get seen. Everybody was calling. Everybody.
What kind of calls you were getting?
The regular calls, the intox, the drunks, the strokes, the cardiac arrest, all of it times 5.
Yeah.
And then COVID. Everybody's saying they got COVID, so we had to deal with the regular jobs plus all the COVID jobs. So it was
now
everybody.
When the dispatchers are saying like this person's calling because they have COVID.
Yeah, COVID symptoms, COVID like symptoms, COVID, they positive COVID, and we would get called and we would tell them like, listen, if you already have COVID, it's best to stay in the house. There's no cure to COVID. If you go to the hospital, you're going to affect someone else, or it might get worse.
Yeah.
So we was instructed to tell them like, listen, stay in the house if you could.
Yeah, for
going
sure.
to the hospital, it made no sense because there was no cure for it.
You're just gonna get everybody else sick.
Everybody else sick, yeah. And if you don't got it, you're gonna get it.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's one of those.
And y'all was going in masked up.
Masked up, yeah. We had a N95 mask. We had the regular surgical mask. Yeah, everybody was calling, and it was.
You got like a crazy, something crazy that you experienced during COVID, or you were like, wow, this is a lot to deal with.
Yeah, so we had switched the how we transport people to hospitals. Like before COVID, they had the option of going to different hospitals and stuff like that. During COVID, you had to go to the closest hospital. So yeah, if you had COVID or you had something seriously wrong with you and you didn't want to go to the closest hospital in your area, then we just had to let you know, like, hey, we can't take you there, and you're gonna sign that you're refusing to go to the hospital. So no matter what it was, like, you could have had chest pain, you could have had anything. If you didn't want to go to the closest hospital, we was able to let you refuse to go to the hospital, to the closest hospital, and whatever happened from there was, that was on the patient.
Wow. So during COVID, y'all obviously switched a few protocols. So you pick somebody, when you picked someone up, you took them to a certain hospital instead of their closest one.
Yeah, they had that.
You let them know.
Yeah, we let them know. Like, listen, this is the only option you have, and you have to go to that closest hospital.
Yeah.
So whether you're bleeding out, your chest pain is so severe, whatever. If you didn't want to go to that closest hospital, we had the option to let you sign that you're refusing to go to the hospital at the time, and whatever happened from there was on them.
Now, when y'all, obviously people are, in order for them to get to the hospital, they got to get on y'all truck or ambulance. Yeah. Are y'all walking in, like pushing them in, or as soon as y'all get to the hospital, y'all just dropping them off and letting the nurses or whoever personnel take them?
No, we still had to walk them in, and but it was so bad during COVID that we had to wait at least an hour. And
once you got to the hospital?
Once we got to the hospital, we had to wait at least an hour, 45 minutes to an hour before, because there were so many people. The whole New York was in the hospital, man.
Yeah.
The whole New York was in the hospital. And every hospital, it wasn't like a certain hospital. Every hospital, it was a 45-minute to an hour wait. Nobody had beds. It was just crazy, man.
So y'all taking them off in the stretcher?
If they was on the stretcher, we take them off the stretcher, bring them inside with the stretcher,
and y'all just stand there with them still on the stretcher for an hour,
at least an hour, because either the hospital didn't have no beds, or they were so backed up that so many ambulances that came in at the time that we're just waiting. It was a waiting game. And then as soon as we dropped them off and gave report to the nurse, and we got back and we went available, there was another call, and that was just kept going. It was nonstop. It kept going. We didn't have no breaks.
No breaks. New York City.
No breaks. We kept going.
And obviously y'all not diagnosing them. Y'all not doctors.
Yeah,
y'all just first so like even if they do or don't, you gotta treat
them like
all the same like they do. So they can be calling y'all with BS, but and honestly, who knew what it was? Who like of course they would suspect it's all over the news. You feel sick. It feels like the flu. Nobody knew. Literally nobody in the world knew what was going on. So it's like, were you from 2019 to 2020 when COVID happened? Like were you approaching like scenes differently? Were you waking up every day like, oh man, like was you were you mentally? Did you have to mentally prepare yourself to go into work? Some of the days, like you got to deal with COVID's happened, especially COVID started at least in New York, like the second week of March. Like,
oh, I got a funny story. You know what I'm saying? I got a funny story. I had my trip booked to Aruba.
Oh man,
for my birthday, man.
March baby.
Yeah. So I think COVID officially was like March 19th, March 18th,
something like that.
Something like that.
Week, 14th to the 19th.
Yeah, something like that. Days. So, I mean, it could have started, but like Aruba, they was like, I think it's probably like the 18th, 19th. They said, we're canceling the flights to Aruba.
Man.
So I was extra hurt, man.
Wow.
Paid for the trip and everything.
You got a refund?
Yeah, I got a refund. But after that, straight to work, man. Straight to work.
You remember that first day, like when you that first day you worked during COVID, you was like, oh, this is crazy.
Yeah. It was, the workload was so much that it was.
Did y'all alter how did they bring more people on? Like, it's usually 2 to a truck.
Yeah.
Were they like, all right, we need 4?
I'm glad you asked that. So, we was all doing 8 hours at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then once COVID happened, they switched everybody to 12 hours. The whole fire department, 12 hours. And then, once it got so bad, FEMA came. This is all ambulances from all the other states, Texas, Tennessee, wherever. They all came down to help us out.
Mm-hmm.
So
shout out to Texas, Tennessee, wherever y'all are.
Whoever, all the states, they had a couple of ambulances that they volunteered to come down, and they helped us out tremendously.
Wow.
Yeah, so we met a lot of great people from the other states.
And and there was a call. You bring them to the hospital. As soon as you getting back on the truck, dispatching.
Soon, not even a minute later, you getting dispatched. Go ahead.
So you was relieved to be off work, like.
Yeah, once they
after every 12 hours, I'm like, yo, I need a drink. Cause that's crazy. I can't even like.
But they shut the city down, man. They shut the city down. They shut the city down. But for the essential workers, we was able to travel and stuff like that. So some of the restaurants or whatever, they was putting out the mobile drinks, not the mobile drinks, but like drinks to go.
Mm-hmm.
So I happen to.
We all clapped at 7 p.m. for him.
I happen to indulge.
I don't know where they were, but in New York.
Oh yeah, we got it.
What we was doing at 7 p.m. every day, we was clapping for the essential workers.
Yeah, it was,
and we was clapping for my guy right here.
Yeah, it was a beautiful time, man. I actually got a video. It was a beautiful time.
Everybody clapping their pants.
Yeah, the whole Brooklyn, man.
Yeah, respectfully, you know what I mean? Like. That could have been any of our mom, any of our,
Right.
And like you said, a lot of people passed away during COVID.
Yeah, I checked the numbers. I think it was like 43,000 that had passed away.
In New York City.
Wow. Or had got COVID, and then probably was like 20,000 that had.
And that got to be, if not the most, one of the most in America, because New York City is the biggest city population wise. That's like. That's crazy. Speaking of that and the whole COVID traumatics, in 2019 you received a pre-hospital save medal.
He did your research.
Come on. You know I gotta do my research. Huh?
He did his research.
You know? And there was an asterisk next to the award in 2019. This is prior to COVID, so I didn't even know. You know, it could have been more than that. It was an asterisk that said you saved 3 people in 2019.
2019.
You saved 3 people.
Where you get that?
Most people don't even save a person in their whole life. You saved 3 people in 1 year. Do you remember any? Do you remember that? You just doing your job.
I'm just doing my job.
You're just doing your job.
Honestly, I got a bad memory, man. So my memory's terrible. But I
mean, respectfully, you know, you doing your job, taking care of people all day, and you know, I mean, even if it's not all day, but you like that's your job, like making sure people is alive, safe, and get to where they need to go, the hospital.
Right.
But you remember receiving this award at least?
I do.
In 2019?
I did. Yeah.
There was an asterisk next to your name. It said your name, and then it said, if there's an asterisk there and a number, that's how many people they saved in 2019, and you saved 3. And he doesn't even know. That's how you know he's doing.
Yeah.
In New York City doing whatever.
I'm not here for the awards. You know what I'm saying? It's a blessing to have them, but, you know, I see so many people a day or during a week, during a month that, you know, I'm doing my job. Whatever happens, you know? Yeah.
Respect, bro. Man. Like,
I'm glad you did your research because
I had to, bro. Like, I already knew, knowing you as a person, that you, especially when it comes to taking care of people, making sure they're safe, or, you know, I already know the type of person you are, that you're going to make sure, you know, that they get where they need to go, or you're going to help them if you can, or try to help them when you can.
Yeah.
And I just know that's who you are. So I did my research and I was like, he got an award in 2019? I think I remember reposting it, but I don't remember. I never seen that you saved 3 people in 2019. Who knows how many people you saved in 2020 during COVID? That's
man. Crazy. I'm about 1,000 in, man.
Man,
I'm about 1,000 in.
Speaking of COVID, though, I got EMT fact, EMT EMS fact. In 2013, sorry, not 2013. In 2023, that was the busiest year in FDNY EMS history. 2023. Personnel was responding to a record-breaking of 1,619,813.
I believe it. I was
medical
there.
Emergencies.
I believe it. I was there. I was working.
Yeah. And with cardiac arrest, strokes, and gunshot wounds in 2023. And this was up 14% since COVID.
Wow. Listen, I worked through it all, man. The numbers do rise, you know, and it's a big workload. It's a big workload out there, you know.
Did you like after COVID? Did you feel that, you know, things were escalating, or people were, you know, or it was just like a regular day? You didn't even notice that after 2020,
after COVID, when everything died down, we noticed. Yeah, when everything died down, we noticed that it wasn't as busy. But during COVID, I'm telling you, it was a lot of calls, man.
Yeah.
A lot of everybody had, you know, they think they had COVID or they had COVID, and we had to respond. And, you know, whether we knew it or not, we had to treat it like it was.
But the facts say that in 2023, that was your busiest year.
Hey, I mean,
from everything else other than COVID,
okay,
like gunshot wounds, cardiac arrest, everything else, that might have been like the after effect of, you know, COVID and everything that happened. You know, because we didn't really step outside until probably like June 2021 or something like that.
It was a while. Yeah.
So I don't know, but
honestly, my unit is the busiest unit in my station. So I can't call
you
it.
can't even call it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't call it.
it's
Yeah,
busy every day.
yeah,
It's
I'm
busy.
saying.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he's in Brooklyn. Just know that he's in Brooklyn,
yeah.
New York.
I can't call it.
That's the busiest place in America, probably
I can't call
after
it.
LA. So, do you feel obligated to help someone on the street or highway or wherever? Just like you're not even on the job, just you're going about your regular day. You're not working. Do you feel obligated to help someone in need or in danger?
I do. I honestly do. It's kind of like a guilty conscience, you know. Like if I see something and I don't help, it's a guilty conscience. Like I have the skills to help somebody. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Usually I do help. You know. Yeah. Recently, this guy was he was on the highway. He got hit off the motorcycle. He did like 2 flips in the air, and you know, I was busy that day. I was like, I got to do this thing.
His nickname is Mo Money, by the way.
You know what I'm saying? I was honestly busy, but I had stopped and helped him out, you know. So yeah, if I can help, yeah, I would help. Yeah.
He just said that so nonchalant. The guy, he was a motorcycle flip.
Yeah, I seen us.
You seen it?
I seen it.
What?
I seen it. The guy, we was on a BQE. I guess he was trying to like swerve through the traffic or whatever. But he hit somebody. He clipped somebody's mirror, and then after he clipped somebody's mirror, he turned and smacked into the back of the car. So smacked it back to the car, did 2, 3 flips in the air. And I'm like, damn.
And you saw this.
I seen it.
Not on a job. Nah. You can't even catch it.
I was off of my personal car. I seen it. I'm like, damn.
Wow.
I said, you know, I am busy. I do gotta handle some business, but I felt obligated to, you know, to help him. So
yeah. Wow, that's what's up, man. That's
wow. I did, man.
So what's the most like rewarding part of the job?
The most rewarding part of the job would be, you know, the patient or the patient's family members saying like, you know, thank you so much for helping me or helping my family member, like especially in their time of need, like when it's really terrible for them. Mm-hmm. You know, it could be simple for us, but it'd be terrible for them. And they'd be like, yo, thank you so much for helping me and my family. Or, you know, just like being myself, like being really kind to people. Mm-hmm. And they're like, yo, you know, you're the best EMT worker that came and helped me. And, you know, you're so kind and empathetic towards me, you know. So, yeah, that would be like the most rewarding.
That's what's up. Like, that's probably would you say that's probably one of the best things that, you know, people wouldn't expect about the job.
Yeah.
You know, just that reassurance.
Yeah, the reassurance. Yeah, it could be simple for me, but terrible for them. But like yeah, it's like
and sorry to cut you off, but like you said earlier, you just got tunnel vision. This is your job. This is what you do. This is who you are.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so to hear that every once in a while,
that's
that could be you know reassuring.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
What would you say is like a common misconception that people think about EMT workers? Like something that people think they know, but they really don't.
I would say like taxi drivers.
Taxi drivers.
They make it. You know, a lot of people seem like, you know, we could just travel to any hospital, but like, you know, if you really have an emergency, you're supposed to go to the closest appropriate hospital. You know, but yeah, some people will have regular toe pain and want to go from Brooklyn to Queens, Brooklyn to Staten Island, Brooklyn to the Bronx. But now, you know, if you're seriously injured, you have to go to like the closest hospital.
Yeah.
You know.
So people just think
you could go anywhere.
They think you were taxed up.
Yeah.
You know, they want you to they want you to go to Long Island and you're in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Because they might, you know, something can happen to you anywhere. Mm-hmm. Something can happen to you in Brooklyn, but you live in Long Island.
Yeah.
But you want to go to the hospital in Long Island.
Yeah.
Like, nah.
Yeah.
You gotta go out here.
You gotta go, You
gotta go out here.
Mm-hmm. And they'll really fight with you too. You know, they'll really take me over here. I'm like, listen, we have these options and that's it, you know.
Now that you say that, like when people that like, you know, in anything, when they fight y'all or not necessarily fight, but refuse, like how much do y'all, you know, rebuttal or try to, you know, stop them from resisting? the help that they need? You know,
a few times, maybe like 3-4 times, you give them some reassurance, like, listen,
you just gotta talk them out of it. You can't like physically,
And also, it's like between me and my partner, like, I could try my way and it's clearly not working, and then I'll give my partner the floor to try his way or her way, and if they can get it, cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times where the patient might not like the way I'm doing things, but gravitate towards my partner, and we like, all right, let me just talk to him or her, and I'm like, all right, cool. I'll fall back, and I'll let them handle the situation.
Once again, like a detective, good cop, bad cop.
That's in a nutshell, that's exactly what it is.
Do everything, bro. Like, how do you stay calm in these situations? Well, you're already a calm person. You're already so like it probably comes natural, but like, how do you mentally stay calm in these situations, or are you not?
It's a little bit of both, depending on the situation. Like I said earlier, we get a brief summary of what's going on in a computer, so I'll mentally prepare once I start reading what's going on, and I know what I got to do. I'll calm down a little bit. Like if it says someone shot, hypothetically, if it says someone shot, I know exactly what I got to do for the shot, and I'm preparing myself for that situation. So
it might be chaotic in there because somebody just got shot.
Yeah, especially like there was a time in what was this? It was in Brooklyn, and it was
East New York or downtown.
Downtown, Lafayette Gardens. It was a triple shooting. So
triple shooting. Crazy.
Yeah. One guy had got shot in the head. One guy got shot in the arm, and another guy got shot in the chest. So I'm having tunnel vision, doing my thing, but police have the whole thing blocked off. I'm kicking bullets.
And you're the after PD.
I'm after PD. Actually, the precinct was right there, so it was like maybe a couple feet away from the precinct. But I'm tunnel vision. I'm there to do my job, but I'm eventually just kicking bullets, kicking all the stuff just to get to the patient to make sure they're okay. So but based on my training and stuff like that, I was able to read the comments off the computer and know what I had to do.
Yeah. How you like? So well, that's crazy. You just mentally prepare yourself to, every situation from listening to you speak, like every situation you deal with it or go into it mentally a different way. Sometimes you might have to be positive. Sometimes you might have to just stay calm and do what you got to do.
Right.
Sometimes you got to ignore. That's like a perspective that the regular civilian like me wouldn't even think of, since you just said that.
Yeah, I mean, even though the comments could be all the way right or all the way wrong, so it like detective work, you got to still figure the stuff out. So
that's crazy. Was there like a response or call that changed your view on the job? Is there something that on the job that just changed your view about what you're doing? Or was there when that was, or if there was a time when you first started, like that changed your view on like, all right, this is serious what I'm doing,
well, as far as the job aspect, the situation with the kid, that got ran over. So after the call and stuff like that from the higher ups, they was basically like saying, go back to work, don't even from my experience, it was like, just go straight back to work. This is your job. You got to do what you got to do. Go straight back to work.
Yeah.
But I'm like mentally, like, I can't, I can't do it. Like, I just witnessed something crazy, and you guys are rushing me to go back to work. So that was my.
But you got to, because who else is gonna do it?
Yeah.
That's not me.
That's what they were saying. But I'm like, not today. I can't do it today.
That's man. The stuff y'all do is just like, wow. Yeah. Listen to you speak and tell all these stories and give your perspective on everything you did. Like when you going into these jobs, for some people this might be the worst day of their life.
Yeah.
So it just puts like put it into another perspective on the job you do. Like, do you feel like was there ever a moment where you felt like this job might break me, or like, or it almost broke you? If you want to talk about it, you obviously still on the job, so you don't have to, But
no, I think I'm well qualified for the job. I don't think any of those jobs kind of like deterred me from doing the job.
You feel like it changed you though a little bit?
No, no. I think
to be better or worse.
Maybe like for better, like to continue my career as a EMS professional, or become a firefighter. But yeah, like there's certain jobs that makes you wonder, like, oh, okay, this what happened to the patient, and then from my level, I can't understand it at that, based on my knowledge. But there's paramedics that they can dig deeper and figure out, oh, sure, this happened to the patient, this happened to the patient. So like I'm more curious on what's going on.
And you want to get to that level.
Yeah. See,
and that's why we need you, and that's why you're the perfect person for this job. A lot of people would tap out or have tapped out on the things you've seen.
Oh,
someone can come from another state and wherever, Utah, and go to just drop you in the smack dead middle of Brooklyn, New York, and see all the things you just told us. A week later, they tapped out or go back to Utah. You know what I'm saying? So like,
what's also crazy about that is like, soon as you graduate the academy, your first day, all of that could happen. Whatever stories I just told you, that can all happen in one day. A shooting, stabbing, stroke, cardiac arrest, all of that can happen in one day, And
wow, that is a perspective.
You can do all of that in one day. You still got to come back tomorrow, and it's a whole different ball game. But yeah, literally, you could do all of that in one day.
Has technology changed in the way that y'all do your job, whether on a truck or just anything that you do? Like this technology, has it? Do y'all use it more, or it's just like y'all don't really?
It's progressing. It's progressing for the better. Like the electric stretcher we have, that's a great improvement. It saves our back. There's also this thing called the Lucas device, where it's doing compressions. So like we don't have to do compressions anymore in certain situations.
You have a device that do that?
That does it, yeah. Wow. So like if they still need compressions and they need to go to the hospital, we'll apply that device and they'll just do compressions
while you do other things you need to do.
So it'll save some hands.
Wow that's fire.
That's
that was whew. So this is the I got so much more to ask, but we're gonna wrap up with this. Give us at least 5 food spots in New York City that this man himself has been to.
There was a spot back in the day called Swings. That was off of I believe off of Fulton Street.
Fulton Street, Brooklyn. Okay.
Might have been Flatbush. I don't know. I get confused. But yeah, Swings was good. I'm gonna throw Simpsons in there. Simpsons BK.
Center, Brooklyn. Okay.
Sugar Cane. Sugar Cane was by Barclays as well. Damn.
Well, should we go? You ain't going nowhere this year or last year?
I ain't been outside. I ain't been outside in a while, man.
I ain't been
outside in a while. Kava, we're gonna go Kava, man.
Oh, he said Kava. A lot of people, that's a sleeper.
We're gonna go
Kava's a sleeper, even though that's a sleeper. Kava.
And I'm gonna give a little shout out to my people's soldiers in Brooklyn.
Soldiers. What part of Brooklyn is that?
Shit. I don't even know.
Oh no, it's in Brooklyn.
It's in Brooklyn.
He'd be all over.
I'll be all over. Right. I should know the address, but I don't know. But yeah, Soldiers is like a buffet, Caribbean buffet. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay.
Oh, Juicy Patty too. Juicy Patty.
Where's that? Brooklyn?
It's in Brooklyn, somewhere over there.
Juicy Patty, Soldiers, Simpsons,
Kava.
Kava.
What was the other one?
Kava's everywhere.
Yeah, Kava.
I go to Kava in Jersey City. And you said
Swings.
And Swings. I never heard of that either. That's in Brooklyn too?
It closed down, I believe. But yeah, Swings was good.
Swings.
Sugar cane. Yeah.
That's enough. That's all we need to hear. So
yeah.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, man.
Man. That's another episode of Sign on the Pod. We got a first responder, FDNY EMT himself, Devante Hazel.
Yes,
appreciate you for signing on.
Appreciate you for having me, man.
Yes, sir.
Listen, I also want to tell a story, man. Can I get some time?
Yeah, there you go. Come on, okay. Come on.
Listen, this is one of my first. This is him and his brother Hazy, my first friends when I moved to the neighborhood. We ain't gonna get into the backstory, but
this guy.
Yeah, him and his brother Hazy. I met him in the basketball court. Hey, they was down there. Damn, they was down there in the basketball court. Yeah.
Yeah, full circle, bro.
Yeah, full circle. Wow.
Yeah. Anyways, it's not about me. It's about him and all he's done for New York City. And I can't even imagine doing what he does, every day for 12 hours or more, multiple times a week. So shout out to him. 2 claps for Devante. This dude, New York City's finest. Appreciate you, bro.
Man, appreciate you for having me.